The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.
We got him. We got him today. I'm very excited. Bruce Linton. Hey, dude. How are you?
I'm just trying to make myself special by being scarce. I was really doing nothing the other show.
Is that what it was?
There was that deal with Constellation. Sorry, that took up a bit of time.
Oh, yeah. The deal that was for about how many hundreds of millions of dollars?
About 245 million.
One of the most revolutionary deals in your industry, if not the, for about, I think it was 9.9% stake of the company. And you know, from what I understand and read about it and everything, this is really going to help down the road with things like distribution, with things that here at Canopy Growth and the legalization of marijuana, with one day infused drinks that are marijuana based and stuff. Really exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, this just says that maybe there's a new normal coming. And it says that a Fortune 500 company from America that, you know, we'd think of as Corona or Mondavi or some of these brands, they actually look north and say, Canada's got the policy right. This is going to be the way the future of the world is. And Canopy's maybe doing things mostly right, so let's go work with them.
Mostly. You guys are doing a lot right. It's really exciting stuff. You know, and I think, you know, for someone who actually studies the industry quite a lot, really, and I'm a layman at business, so that doesn't mean much, but I sort of predicted a deal like that, and whether it was with, you know, Canopy or some of the other LPs, might not happen till at least after legalization. And did you even catch people within sort of your industry or much more closer to it than I off guard with that?
I think everybody was surprised, and it wasn't that we were, frankly, so special. I think we're pretty good. But if you look at Constellation, here's a company that if you go back over the last 5 years, their stock has gone from about $10 to $200 in the U.S. And they're a Fortune 500 company that was started by this fellow's father. But really, the gentleman who's running it is a big Fortune 500 powerhouse, but it's super entrepreneurial. And it's run in a way that I felt we could actually do things together, work together, and create together. And, you know, if you come and work with Canopy, we don't need like 4 board committees and a special session of government to decide what we're going to do. We think about it and we do it. Well, and they're that kind of company as well.
I love that. Move ahead. You know, I thought, yeah, a lot of corporations do that, don't they, Bruce? I feel like they waste so much time in the planning, which actually costs so much money, as opposed to just kind of going out and doing something. And some might fail, some might succeed. And obviously, you want more to succeed than fail. But at least you didn't just waste the time with nothing being acted upon.
Yeah, it's probably the toughest thing as we grow, and it's in any other business I've been involved in growing. The toughest thing is as you get bigger is to still be decisive, to allow people to have authority over areas, make things happen. And so what I love with Constellation is these guys have absolutely made things happen. They're a crew of entrepreneurial people, but they're professionals, and they've put together the darling of the sector as far as beverages in America and a couple few other countries. But, you know, when you think about what could be next, probably because everything we're doing in every province in Canada is governed by the authorities that look after liquor distribution. And if you said to the liquor distributor guys, are you familiar and comfortable with a bottled beverage that might cause a effect that could be minor intoxication if consumed responsibly, they will say yes. And if I ask them, do you want to sell gummy bears because you're really good at that, their answer is less likely to be yes. So because of who governs what we sell and where we sell it, I think the probability of having an infused beverage and becoming the first legal market in the world happening in Canada is pretty good. And as an intoxicant, something that looks like a wine bottle maybe has an equivalent effect. That has that form factor that we're all way more comfortable with than, you know, you trying to figure out how to roll a joint. And so that's, I think, going to work.
An amazing thing to think of, and not only that, though, there's still the idea that you could probably have a drink with infused marijuana. I would imagine that is still medical. The purpose of it is purely a medical reason too, right?
Yeah. So what we're doing with Constellations is, you know, it's for adult beverages that are recreational, but some of the formulations we're working on for people with maybe a need for sleep, or some of the things that could be related to, you know, waking up in the morning with a sort of, you know, tension caused by, say, Parkinson's. There could be options that are inhalation, liquid ingestion, a variety of things that the more we work on how to structure these in any category, the better it will become technologically for both.
I was just thinking in terms of my wife would probably want some just so she doesn't have to hear me snoring.
Yes, well, sleep's a big thing, man. The older we get, the more we realize actually sleeping is really a good thing if you're good at it.
Dude, do you sleep? I feel like you're the type of guy that just goes and goes and goes. Do you have downtime? Like, can you compartmentalize when you're running such a big company?
Yeah, I'm one of the best follower sleepers probably in Canada. I'm not one of the best stayer sleepers. So I'm probably a great candidate for when Canopy Health, one of our divisions, perfects a time-release cannabis-based solution that allows you to just kind of not wake up at 2:45 in the morning. But this business and this sector is interesting for people because it's new, it's fast, it's evolving, and I don't think that there's very much stress when you're in a business area that is really all of those things. I've been in business areas where no one cared, there was no growth, and there was no action. That's actually way, way, way more stressful. And so it's a pretty good time.
What about and honestly, man, you're a bit of a rock star in the industry and stuff. Does that you ever have pressure from kind of that stuff? Just putting on the game face all the time? Or are you just a good guy?
I just enjoy it. I think it's important that you enjoy it, and maybe it's easier to enjoy it and not get a bit crazy when you get to be north of 50 rather than south. So I achieved that last year. But I still have this really beautiful Ford Flex that I was driving when I started the company. The problem now is it's up to 261,000 kilometers, and I'm worried a cop's going to pull me over because it has a massive crack across the windshield. So that is really, it's a pretty fancy ride for a guy who's a marijuana dude, eh?
No doubt. Is it lowered? You should lower it.
Yeah, it's really lowered. It's hot. Just picture hot.
Well, you might have to retire the car up in Smith Falls there or something. Just kind of have it as a sort of a mainstay. People can kind of sit in it and hang out in it, and it could be like an attraction.
Yeah, every time the car gets me somewhere, I do a little good car ceremony, and so I don't know how many more ceremonies are going to happen. I just have to. It is a bit busy, so the idea of shopping for a car seems like a unnecessary thing. So I have a Smith Falls used car dealer who's looking for a car for me, which it's everything you picture. Having a Smith Falls used car dealer call you a couple times a day with updates on your car.
What a humble guy. I mean, that would be a fun. I can imagine. He's a good salt of the earth dude. I imagine trying to find you a good old car.
Oh yeah. It's good times.
So Bruce, so for me, man, it wasn't. I was beginning to think it was personal. I'm like, this guy doesn't like. He didn't like me.
I had a lot of people who were like, you haven't gotten back to me in 3 weeks. And then after, I was getting messages saying, kind of makes sense. But in the company, we have a few people who worked on this, and I joke with Mark, who's the president, and really, frankly, the guy who does all the smart work. He, I think, now has about 50% of his week free that he hadn't for the prior month or so. And, and then today we have the feds confirming that they intend to have a tax that's about 10%, and which we think is pretty reasonable. What we're pushing them on now is get rid of the tax on medical. Make your money on the recreational products and let people who are taking a purely medicinal doctor visit approach pay no tax. And so we'll see where we get with that. But that file's moving. You got about half the provinces have announced how they're going to run their distribution. So it's actually really coming together. They're mainly fighting over who gets to keep what portion of the taxes, not whether they're going to do it.
Great news and good to hear, and obviously the fight sort of to, hey guys, if this is for medical purposes, we don't tax other drugs. So why are we taxing marijuana?
Right, you can get your opioids with no tax, and mine causes you to have to pay a tax. That's completely BS. So we've had a petition going for a while, and we'll keep pushing that one. And I think they'll relent probably when we get to the format of having something that has gone through more medical trials. But that's one of those fights that's worth keeping at.
I always ask you this when I talk to you, but every week, man, it's like we're closer and closer and closer to legalization. What does this feel like for you? Like, do you get that? Like every day, is there an adrenaline rush, just knowing what you're doing and what you guys are accomplishing and how it's almost real?
Yeah, I would say there's a bunch of these things that are coming together. The plan's working, and then there's a hell of a lot of, wow, we got to finish the construction here. And so there's making sure that it happens in the right way and making sure that when it happens, we are a disappointment to people who've looked forward to this event for a long time, because we've got to make sure that we service the opportunity and are responsible in having supply, and that those who are going to want to doubt or find fault can't find it in things that we could have actually looked after more effectively. And so there's quite a bit of, it's exciting, but there's also, you realize we can't screw this up. We got to do it right.
Bruce, I have a feeling you're going to figure out a way to do that. you're on the right path. I look forward to these. I'm trying to do weekly calls with you because I just think it's so important. And we have the privilege here, obviously, on Sirius, just to have listeners all across this great country, and it's going to affect everyone. And also, I really do believe in sort of ending that stigma. And you'd be super happy. My father texted me, my 75-year-old dad, and he's like, "Hey, next time we get together, I'd like to talk about just the legalization of marijuana and maybe investment opportunities and things like that." It's really funny. Just to me, that was kind of surreal.
Everybody everywhere wants to understand this topic, and for the most part, your dad is at this age category where you think they're going to say no way, and then you realize they're actually saying, I don't like all these other medicines that are the options I have. I'm really thinking about, hey, how do I move through life a little bit more elegantly, and how do I make it so that I have good quality? So good on him for wanting to chat about it.
Yeah, no doubt. And we spent some time at the cottage up north in the Somerset, and so I'm sure he just wants to also, much like my wife, but tolerate me a lot better. So it'll work out. Hey, Bruce, I'm glad.
You could be one of my best medical indications. I don't know.
I'll be your guinea pig all day long, sir. And I'm glad it's not personal because I'm back to my campaign now. Why Bruce Linton deserves to be the CEO of the year. So I'm on it. Okay. Cheers,
Thanks,
man.
I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
You too.
Cheers. Bruce Linton from Canopy Growth. Really exciting times towards the legalization of marijuana. And of course, for those who are using it for medical purposes right now.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.